Greetings and welcome back. So I know it's been a while since I talked about my writing, ever since I tore up my original story idea to Frankenstein it back together into an entirely different story. So I've gotten through that stupid draft and I'm now on the first draft of that one. So I took all the scenes and everything I wrote in my stupid draft, typed it up, put it in the order that I want it, and adjusted things as I went. Did, general editing from the stupid draft into the new draft. And putting everything in order was really good. By typing it up and putting everything in order, I was able to see scenes that were missing and things that I wanted to sort of buff up in the story. So that really helped, because when writing my stupid draft, I was all over the place. I am very chaotic when I write. I found as much as I am a mood reader, I am a mood writer. So instead of writing it beginning to end, I tend to write whatever scene strikes me at the moment. So they were kind of all over the place. So actually typing it up from my stupid draft, I had to go through, I started going through and then I lost what I had already written down and where I wanted to go next. So I had to go through it and actually cross out the scenes that I already typed up so that I could get them all in order, because it was all over the place. But it's coming together, and I'm just finishing up those extra scenes that I wanted to add in and finding places where I can kind of buff it up, because right now typed up it's only about 9,000 words, which is not enough for me. I'm really hoping it can get to the length of a novel. I'm a little suspicious that I might only get to novella, and I'll let it be whatever it needs to be, but I want to at least have enough in it that it's not just a short story, because I feel like the story deserves enough meat and elements more than you would get in just a short story. So I'm hoping to kind of beef it up a bit and get it closer to my word count goal. So for my first edit, once the first draft is done, editing it into the second draft is going to focus mostly on overall structure and scene order, see if I want to move things around, maybe tell it in a different order, because I do like putting in flashbacks and things. It doesn't always have to be strictly chronological order. Yeah. It doesn't have to be strictly chronological order in a story. I do kind of like when you get sort of bouncing back and forth. So that'll be the first draft. Into the second draft will be big edits, like major structural edits, just to start with. In there, I'll sort of start beefing it up more, because with the structure, if there's scene orders, I can, build up some scenes, move things around, add other scenes if I find some more that need to be added. There we go. So that will take us into the second draft, and from there, editing it into the third draft. I'm going to focus down a little bit more into the wording and the phrasing, kind of honing in on the writing style I want for the book, because I really do want it to get that sort of quippy, sarcastic, satirical kind of voice that's in all of the Terry Pratchett books, and I kind of want to insert that into my story, but as a strictly romance novel. I saw a writing prompt once, and I almost want to do this with the story. It was slow burn romance, but the narrator's annoyed about it. So kind of that quippy, why don't you just get together? But as the narrator say, being that kind of tone. And so I think something like that might give me that nice sort of quippy voice. So I'm trying to do that. I do kind of like the idea of sort of, because I'm keeping it in third person omniscient. But I've been doing a little bit more research on writing styles and things, and I don't want to do so much head jumping, where in one scene you're seeing multiple people's perspectives at once. It's a lot. The gist I got from it is that it tends to seem a little disjointed. So I'm gonna try to do chapters focusing on how, Brighton's point of view, and then the next chapter will be Nate's point of view. So I'm gonna try to do that kind of structure. But again, that's going from the second draft into the third draft, so that'll be a little bit further down the line, because I just want to go over my editing style from first draft onward until I get it sort of solidified into actually showing anybody else my work, because then the next edit from third draft to fourth draft is going to be even finer, just doing line editing and grammar. So really it's going to be structure, scene order, then wording, phrasing for the writing style, and then I'll tackle all the grammar so that it doesn't look poorly written, to then send it off to an editor. I'm hoping once I get my draft in a place that I'm happy showing it to somebody else, that I can find an editor and get somebody to have a second set of eyes on it and see, sort of someone with more, in the book profession, someone who knows writing knows how to critique writing styles and structure and that sort of thing. Because I have a very limited knowledge. I can do some things in trying to structure my book and getting it to where I want, but I don't have enough background to really be able to do it all myself. So I'm gonna do what I can myself in the overall structure, the scene order, the writing style, and all of that kind of a thing. Because I think that's important too, because the first major edit should be my vision, and then I can see what someone else thinks, and kind of it's more solid in what it is before somebody else takes a look and starts picking it apart. So that'll be an adventure, trying to find an editor to look at my work. And again, I think the first thing I'm going to do for editing is, again, the overall structure thing, and then find someone to do line editing. Because I feel like I can probably do line editing pretty well, but it would be nice to have a professional editor do strict grammatical critique. But again, I think once that might even be on the level of when I send it off to a publisher, their editor can do the strict line items. Again, I'm gonna have to do a lot more research. I do not have enough information on how to publish a book yet, so I'm trying to do a lot more research, and hopefully I get more information. I'm gonna talk to a few more people. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. If anybody has any advice or any videos they enjoy that has editing advice, let me know. Leave it down in the comments, because again, this is my first time. The only other time I've done writing with critique was in college classes, where it was the whole class, we all read each other's short stories and then did general critiques. But I've never worked with an editor. I don't know how that kind of thing works, so it's all new to me, so it's exciting. I'm still a little am I doing this right? So we'll see. And as well as an editor, at some point, I don't know whether I want to wait till after I get it professionally edited or if it doesn't really matter, but at some point I do want to find some beta readers to read through my novel, which would just be people who like books, people who would be the target audience for the book, and get their general feedback on it. Again, it wouldn't be the kind of feedback you would get from an editor where it's oh, this, very strategic, more just read it and give me your thoughts kind of critique. But I definitely want to get people who are in the target audience for my book to read it and tell me what they think before I put it out there to publish, because I feel that could be a really good feedback. Because, you can have an editor, you can have a publisher look at it, but what I really care about is if the reader's gonna like it. So if I can find people who are in that group, who are people who would go out and read my book, to tell me before I publish it what they think, and if they see any major flaws, or they have any major questions about it, anything they think could be that didn't feel right to them, that kind of thing. So once my draft is at a better place where I'm actually comfortable showing it to people, I'm hoping to find some beta readers. So if anybody wants to be a beta reader, knows people, let me know down in the comments, because I would love to find some people to just kind of hand out my rough draft to and get feedback. Because I think sort of the audience feedback would be a really good tool as well. Because as much as I can go over the grammar and go over things, but getting opinions of people who would read this type of book would definitely be a good source of information for me to know if I'm going in the right direction, if there's things I can change, that kind of thing. So I trust the readers more than I trust an editor. I don't know. But again, editors, they know what they're doing. They know what they're looking at. So I'm going to look for an editor in general fiction, romance maybe, because that's kind of what I'm going for again. It's if Terry Pratchett wrote a modern romance kind of feel is what I'm going for. Again, I'm being really presumptuous, being I'm going to write like Terry Pratchett, that. And I'm never going to get to that level. But that's the goal. That's what I'm shooting for, so I can land somewhere in the same vicinity as that type of writing. It's never going to be as good. But I can hope. It's the inspiration. And definitely my first novel is not going to be anywhere close to any, long-time professional writer's work. But again, more just sort of vibes idea than actual like writing style. Yeah, so once I get editing feedback and beta reader feedback and get it to a really good place, then I guess at some point I'll have to learn how to write query letters and how to send that out to publishers and hope somebody picks it up to publish. I am still debating on how I want to do publishing. I think ideally I would like to get an actual publishing house to publish it. It doesn't have to be, you know, a major publishing company. I'm not that ambitious. I can't imagine a major one of, you know, the top 5 picking me up at all. I might send it to one of them just to throw it in there, but I don't have high hopes because, again, my first novel, I've never written a novel even just for myself, so I am a total novice. I'm not expecting insane things, but I think for my own sanity, I think it would be the easiest route to go traditional publishing. If I do that and it's just not working out and I feel like I could self-publish a lot better and I get a lot more eyes on it. I think if I was going to do it solely self-published, I would want a lot, like a few editors, I would want a lot more feedback, because my biggest fear is publishing something before it's ready to go out to the audience. Because that would be the worst thing for me, that like my debut novel sucks because I didn't get it looked at enough and just went, this is good enough. Like, and at the same time, I don't want to hold on to it so tightly that it's like, it's never ready. I can't show anybody. But if it's not going through all the channels of a publishing company where, you know, that I'm sure they'll have a few eyes on it in the publishing company, I'd want to do that same thing with self-publishing. I wouldn't want to send it out before it's ready for market, basically. Like, I would worry about it going out too early with self-publishing. So, because I want all the feedback I can on my story because, again, it's my creation. I want it to be good. I only want to send it out into the world when it's ready. And again, I'm wary of the holding on to it too long and, you know, having that, oh, it's never going to be ready. Like, I think as long as I get enough feedback and enough people looking at it that I get a good sense of how an audience would receive it, I'd be okay doing self-publishing. So again, that's another thing I'm going to do a lot more research on is, you know, the differences in self-publishing and traditional publishing and all the things that go into that. But again, I'm still only on my first draft, so that's going to be down the road. So I've got plenty of time to learn. This is my first novel, my first real... I feel really ambitious. The first thing I publish at all is a novel. But you know what? Go big or go home. Like, I've been writing a bunch of short stories, but I don't want like my debut thing to be like a bunch of short stories. Like, that just feels a little too weak. I don't know. I want to be a little bit established and then be like, and here's some short stories by the same author kind of thing. Because I feel like people don't gravitate toward short stories as much as novels in, you know, the current market. I don't know. Again, this is things that I need to find out. I need to learn a lot more. And so I'm trying to accumulate as much information and knowledge and things about writing and publishing as I can. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for more knowledge, more information. So hopefully this goes well. But yeah, so I just wanted to come back and give you guys an update on where I was with my new draft of the story. Because I said I'd come back when I got through the stupid draft and onto my first draft and tell you guys a little bit about how I would be editing things. And then I wanted to give a little more and then what I'll do after that. So yeah, just wanted to do a little check-in, and it's going well. I'm excited. It's still new. It's still a very young version of the story, so I'm trying to be gentle with myself and like, yes, of course it's not perfect yet. It's only on its second write through. Like, it's gonna take a while, and I have to keep reminding myself. And now that I'm on my first draft, I'm being a lot more critical on myself. I need to keep that mindset of the stupid draft of just write it. You can't edit something that doesn't exist. So just get it out there, and each time it will get a little bit better. You do have to remember, like, the first draft you write is going to be the worst draft. And you gotta just allow that for yourself, and then the next one is a little bit better, but it's going to be the second worst draft. Like, every time you go through it, it's going to get better. So give yourself some leeway, some wiggle room to just write, just put things on paper, and then you can fix it up. It doesn't have to come out perfect, and that's something I've had to sort of like reason with myself, because that's why I kind of backed off from writing for a while, was I was getting way too critical with myself, and I'd come up with a sentence in my head before I even got to writing it. I'd be editing it in my head, like, so it never got on paper, and I was just like, it would just stew, and then I'm like, oh, it's not good enough, I can't write it. Like, no, write the dumbest thing you can, and then fix it. That's how you write. It's hard, and it's scary, but that's what you gotta do. And so I just have to keep reminding myself that it's okay, it's not finished, it can be stupid. And that's what I love about the concept of a stupid draft, because again, the first time you write it is just you telling yourself the story, and it's going to be the worst. So make it the worst version of the story, just so there's something there that you can build off of. Because again, you can't edit an empty page. So, so I'm excited for this to keep going, and I don't know what the next thing I'll update with. Maybe when I get it to a good spot, I'll come back, talk about it, maybe give little snippets and see how you guys feel about the writing style, because again, I've got that ambition to go for the vibes of a Terry Pratchett book, and I don't know how well I'm gonna do in that. So we'll see. So I'll do some experimenting and come back and see what you guys think, I guess. So thank you for coming with me on my journey. I've still got a long way to go, but I wanted to give you guys an update once I got to typing it all up and getting to my first draft and starting on my major edits. Thank you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.